Hello, athletes and fans of bodybuilding. I'm Linda Murray, 8 times Miss Olympia, and you are watching Olympia TV. We are 1 week out from the Miss International Bikini, and we have 2 times Ms Olympia, Angelica Teixeira.
Okay, pretty good.
And
Hello, guys.
And you're 2 times Miss International Bikini, right?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
yeah, I know, 1 week out. And of course, guys, I have my host. I have Wendy Fortino, 7 times figure Olympia. And I have Camille Perriot, NPC, IFBB judge, and IFBB Bikini Pro.
Good job, Linda.
Yeah.
Side.
So, awesome. I was thinking about this upcoming weekend, next weekend.
Yeah, next weekend.
And I am willing to bet that the audience, all eyes will be on 2. And that is, of course, the defending champion, Laura Lee Chapados, going in to defend her title for the 3rd time. And I guess in a sense, you're going in to defend your title.
That's true.
Right?
Yes.
Because you won it twice.
That's true.
But you're 2 times Ms. Olympia. But all eyes will be on the 2 of you.
Yep.
And I'm going to say, especially you, because the ladies want to see what your body looks like after. It'll be 1 year, 1 month since you've had your little one, your baby.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, Linda.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, because that's my thought. I was thinking about that. And I'm like, I'd be waiting. Like, I want to see what Angelica looks like.
Yeah. Yeah, the time is coming to show.
and you've been keeping it a secret a little bit too.
I am. I want to, I want to leave this surprise to everyone, see how I look on stage. So I'm kind of like showing a little bit, just a little tease, but I don't want to show too much.
Yeah. Well, Angelica, I had a feel when you announced that you were competing at the Arnold's, I was not surprised because I saw you at the Olympia 2023 Olympia, and you were doing commentary for the Brazilian channel, and
I love
you
it.
looked so good. You were wearing these like really cute dresses. There, right there.
Oh,
wow.
Eating your meals, when we were in the audience, you were eating your meals. I'm like, okay, she's up to something.
Well, I wasn't, like until until I went, like, Camille, it's a lifestyle. Linda, it's been a while that, you don't compete. Once we do this, it becomes a lifestyle. So throughout my whole pregnancy, both of them, I was eating, of course, not on a diet, but eating clean, like I don't like to go out and eat all the time. So I carry my meals. I always, like have like a protein pancake with me, homemade when, like wherever I go. So I was really eating clean, but with no other goal, just kind of like wanted to look good for myself and to feel good. And I was already like feeling so good, but the thought about competing wasn't there. It was actually like, oh, I love this, to have more freedom and to really feel good with my body. But it's, like without the pressure of stepping on stage and just be part of this. I was so excited just to be part of the Olympia and work backstage and to be there with everyone. But during the Olympia, so many people came to me like, oh my God, it's not the same without you. I heard so many good things. Like, it's not the same, like we miss you on stage and you look so good. You can step on stage anytime. I'm like, no, I'm a little far away, But those things were kind of like came to my mind and I'm like, maybe, maybe, when you have the just start thinking about it. But after I came from the Olympia, that's when I was like, you know what, let me see how much I weigh. And then because I wasn't weighing myself or anything, like when you just live in the lifestyle and not even worrying about your weight, I'm like, when I step on the scale, I was like 121. I'm like,
wow.
yeah, I'm like, I'm usually on stage like with 118, 117, but of course, the body composition wasn't the same. So I did a little video, and I was like, you know what? The body composition is not the same, but I think I can do this if I take this time, because then I think I was 16 or 17 weeks from the Arnold. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. Then I spoke to Marco. Look, that's me. Oh my God.
This is your last time on stage. And
that one was actually the first time I won the Olympia.
This one was,
yeah, this was
this was a 2020.
That's 2020?
Yeah.
No, it's not 2020. No.
Amazon was sponsoring that one. That's 2017.
Oh wait, no, you're right. You're right. Never mind.
Yeah, 2017. Yes.
Yeah, we know. We know, right?
You know. What am I talking about? Of course. You know your stuff.
So your last time on stage was 2020.
Was yes, 2020, December 2020, because then we had the COVID, and the Olympia was pushed all the way to the end of the year. So yeah, it was December. And it's funny because I competed in December 2020, and then exactly 1 year after, on the Olympia weekend, I was having Alyssa.
Wow.
Yeah, like on that weekend. So, like I competed right after, I think like 2 or 3 months, I got pregnant. And then I had Alyssa on the Olympia weekend. I had her on a Friday, and Bikini was on stage on next day, on Saturday.
So that wasn't so you decided after the Olympia in 2023. So that's like what, beginning of November. So we had November, December, January, February, with the end of February. So you had to really quickly get in gear as far as, because all these other things are so important, like you're posing and you're feeling a certain way, right? Yes. So you submitted when you submitted the contract, like, tell me about that. Like,
I was a little unsure. I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I, can pull it in, if my shape gonna respond well. I'm like, I'm a little crazy, but I'm like, you know what? This whole journey has been about being brave and courageous, and just, like, believing in myself and going for it, and fighting for what I want. I'm like, well, I'm gonna just step back now, So I spoke to Marco, and I was like, you know what, baby, what do you think if I go back competing? And I thought he was gonna say right away, like, no, like, now we have babies, we need you to, like, just stay with them, But no, he was super supportive. He was like, you know what, baby, I think you can do this. I think you already look so good. I'm like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, I think you already look so good. And if someone can do it, it's you. And I think there'll be, like, another level of motivation, inspiration for everyone that you already inspire. So I think you should do it. If you want to do it, it gotta be now. And I'm like, okay, I don't need to hear anything else. Let's do it.
Wow. Yeah.
That's so exciting.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi. And the fit rock star joins us, Isabel Terrell.
Yes. I'm having some technical difficulties over here. Hello, ladies. Hi, Angelica.
How are
I'm
you?
so excited for you coming back. What a great, I mean, it's, I want you to win.
Oh my God, thank you.
I know, right?
I'm doing my best. And I'll tell you right here, I'm feeling pretty good. Yeah. About
you look great.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was saying, Isabel, that all eyes, I just feel like, do you guys like agree? Like, when you think about the lineup, no disrespect to anyone, but when you hear that a 2-time Ms. Olympia, 2-time Miss International Bikini is going to return to the stage, and especially in the bikini division, because 2 things, like, we're looking at how tight the rear end is. We're looking at the midsection, and to think like you can pop a baby out and step on stage, like, that's so inspiring.
Two babies. Back to back.
Inspiring to so many women.
Yeah. That's the reason. That's one of the reasons to come back. It's to inspire, like all the moms that think that after they have baby, it's over. Like it's all about the babies now. Life changes forever. Of course, it changed. It changed for the best. It's an addition. It's so much love, like I never experienced before. But you can still do what you love. You can still, like take care of yourself. And you can still be in the best shape of your life. So, like one of the reasons is to prove, like to all the moms out there, but also to everyone that wants to go for something, but they kind of like, oh, you know what, people think I'm crazy. People think I shouldn't do this. I'm just not going to try. No, if you love something, if you want to do something, you should just go for it, So that's what I'm here to prove. Like everything is possible, because after having 2 babies, if like if I can step on the Arnold, one of the most prestigious shows, like in the IFBB Pro League, well, I know I can do anything, So.
Well, and Angelica, you've already won. Like you've already won. You have this beautiful family. You have, there's so much greatness in your life, and you're such a positive person. This is just you doing, like, I'm going to show you that I can do this. I'm going to show myself that I can do this. It's inspiring for women who've had children. It's also inspiring for women who are competing and maybe want to have kids, but afraid that it might change their bodies permanently, because we're so in tune with our physiques. And you're just showing, like, look, I just had 2 kids and I'm coming right back.
Yeah, no, the feedback has been like that, like not just the moms, but so many women has like message me, like direct message me, like, Angelica, like my dream is to be a mom, but I'm so afraid that will change my body forever, my physique, and I'll never be able to go back, like to feeling good about my body again. And you just changed that, like so many messages, not just the moms, but well, like most women are. Not all the woman, because I wasn't crazy about being a mom, that's that feeling. Marco was always crazy about being, like a dad, and he was the one that wanted it like for years and years. But I also wanted, but I cannot say that, okay, that was my dream, But after the Olympia 2020 was when I was like, you know what? I think I'm ready, I think the woman gotta feel ready. And I didn't want a kids because I was afraid that would change my body, but I wanted to do everything in my career first and kind of like win all the titles that I wanted and kind of like be able to defend, and then be able to, even losing my title, go there and try to get it back. And after that, I was like, you know what? I achieved so much. So now I feel the calling, like to be a mom. That's when I felt ready,
You said something in one of, I'm sorry. You said something in one of your videos that really touched me, and I wanted to ask you about it. You had said that you didn't want your daughters to grow up and think that, you quit competing because of them. You didn't, they started seeing you in a bikini, and you were like, you don't want them to grow up and say, oh, mommy stopped competing because she had us, and have them feel it. So that really, the way you explained that really touched me. So can you talk about that a little bit more? Because that was pretty special.
Yeah. I'm very emotional this week because, like I just see my body, like my physique is ready, so you saying that, it gets me emotional. So I'm trying to control myself today. I was filming my own YouTube today, and I start crying. I'm like, I can't cry because I have this live today, with the Olympic I'm like, I'm not gonna cry. But it is like, this is the main reason why, like I decided to go back to stage, is because I already see the love that even more Alyssa, my oldest, she looks at all my pictures, like all like my bikini, she like everything before I decided to go back, like me looking at check-ins from my clients or posing clients. She was always like, oh, mommy, like everything that she sees bikini, she thinks it's me. If it's someone else, So she already loves it. She wants to put on my shoes. She found my bikini. She wants to wear it, like, and now Isla too. Isla, she's 1 year. Now she understands better. She looks at all my pictures, my magazines, everything. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I think they'll feel kind of like a little guilty that I had them and then I could never step back on stage. And they were not part of it. They just know about everything that mommy did, but they were not there, you know? And I don't have pictures with them on a bikini or maybe winning a show and having them on the stage with me. You know, what a dream. And I'm like, you know what? I think they deserve it that. They deserve it, you know, like to be part of this amazing journey because competing is part of my journey since 2013. And, you know, like it's a big part of my life, you know, like it tells a lot about me. And I want them to be part of this too. So that was the main reason.
When was the moment exactly you said, you know what, I'm ready to step back on stage?
Yeah, we were talking about that was when I came back from the Olympia. I was like, you know what? Everyone like a lot of people, like everyone, like, oh, look at you, look how amazing you look. You can step back on stage anytime that you want. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I think I'm a little too far away. They're like, no, you look great. And then like a lot of things, like the Olympia weekend, it's when you see everyone, and then you kind of like you have an idea of about what you really want, you know. So that's when I got home from that 2023 Olympia. That's when I was like, you know what? Yes, I think I want to do this. I think I deserve to be back after having babies. I think this will be like, you know, like even better for my journey because why end it like that? If, you know, if I look at myself in the mirror and I know, you know, like I feel that I really can do this, you know? Yeah, that's my last Olympia.
It's exciting because, you know, we're watching all of you on your last Olympia. And we talked to Laura Lee Chapados a couple weeks ago, and she said that you're the one person that she has never been able to beat.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So yeah. So Linda was just talking about all eyes are kind of for the bikini division on you and Laura Lee, and it's going to be exciting. Like it's going to be exciting for everybody to watch.
Laura Lee is like someone in the industry, like, you know, like in the bikini, Camille, you know that we are all like not friends, but we go along, you know, like we talk backstage and then we message each other, you know, and you know, I always send good luck. But Laura Lee was someone that I always had a friendship, like, you know, like that I always like, you know, since I met her, it was something that I'm like, oh, I really like this girl, you know, and then we start talking, we were able to travel together.
I can't imagine you not having a friendship with somebody.
Oh,
yeah, it's just that this is a very important topic, especially it's because we have Angelica on, but a lot of people will say, and arguably so, that you were one of the best ambassadors that the bikini division has ever seen. And
thank you.
You just said that, you know, you and Laura Lee have a great relationship and that we're, you know, very friendly backstage. But I agree with you. And I think that you are the one that allowed that to happen because you were the champion, but you didn't care who they were, what their placing was. You would just like you would come over to me and we would be laying down on the ground before we went on eating snacks. And whereas in the past, it seemed like people were kind of more in the corner. But you really helped break that.
Oh, that's so good to hear. You know, it's a lot of my personality is like that. You know, it's always someone that I like it to welcome everyone, to not let anyone feel that they, you know, like on the outside. I always felt bad if someone, because I know how it feels. You know, I remember when I was coming up and some of the top girls, we don't need to say names, were kind of like, oh, can I take a picture?
You got to say names.
Yeah, can I take a picture with you? And then like, I'm very late. Okay, let's do it really quick. Like, you know, like, yeah. And then
I love that. I think that's so important.
After you start placing higher, that's when it changes. And then they come, oh, wow, you look amazing. Nice to meet you. I'm like, no, I already know you. Like, I know you.
Remember that selfie?
Like, remember that selfie that you didn't want to take? Like, you know, but it's just, I remember how we felt, you know, like to be, you know, like down there and kind of like feel, oh my God, this is such a, you know, like a new world. How I'm going to get to that level, you know, and we all been there. We always started somewhere, you know. So I don't want anyone to feel that way. So that's why when I was on top, I made sure that everyone felt that they belong, because they really do. You don't know, like someone can be last place, like in this Arnold, and then come for the Olympia and get like third, second, or even win. It's, you know, like it's bikini is crazy like that, you know. So
well, before you had your first win at Olympia, you were 16th place the year before.
I was actually second to last. That's, you know, like, because
wow,
the call outs, I was like one of the last ones to be called. And then I changed it. I came for the Arnold 2016. Like, I changed so many things. I heard the feedback. I worked so hard. And then that's when I got fourth place at the Arnold. That's when all eyes were like, who is this? Like,
okay. So what changed? Tell us about the difference between before you actually, you know, place in that top 5 and then go on to win.
Yeah, I was super, my body was always more athletic, you know, like I got this from my daddy. I was always very vascular, very, like, you know, like muscular. And I think I was overdoing, you know, like working too hard and not smart. So when I came for the Olympia, my first Olympia, I was a little bit too shredded. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, was a little bit too shredded. So the feedback was that I needed to be fuller, a little softer. And I'm like, oh, okay. So, you know, like I think I don't need to work so hard. And also I was on a journey to get my pro card. And I was doing back to back shows, just trying, because as most people already know, you know, like I had to do many shows and win overalls to get my pro card, because I couldn't do the nationals. So I won 6 overalls, but I had to do 20 shows with the NPC, you know, to get all those overalls and to be able to get my pro card. So once I got my pro card, I was just like, you know what, I'm ready to qualify for the Olympia and step on the Olympic stage. So I did all of that. I got my pro card. I started doing, like, as soon as I got my pro card, I started doing pro shows, and then I qualified for that 2015 Olympia. And my body was tired. My body was like, like, you need a break, girl, you know? Yeah. So when I came on stage and just stepping with those, you know, like top level, we all know once we get, you know, we get the pro card, we think that wow, I'm killing it, you know, like, I'm gonna come get the top 10 at the Olympia now, you know, you come all excited, and then you get there, you're like, whoa, okay, this is another level, you know.
Wow.
So it's really hard to get the pro card and really stand out with those top level pros, you know.
So what is it about the Brazilians that, like, that rear end is just amazing?
It's like, the glutes.
The glutes.
Well, for the glutes, I think we have like great genetics, you know, like for muscle, but it's really because we are all about training glutes since very young. I started training my glutes when I was 14 years old.
Really?
Yeah, with ankle weights. We do a lot of ankle weights. So I, like in Brazil at that time, they did not allow me to lift weights, you know, to go to the lifting weights room, but I could do the group class, and there we use it ankle weights, and I was all about that, just kind of like just train them. Like I really wanted to build my glutes, because we see so many beautiful women, they all like doing the samba, you know, like when it's carnival time, and they're all like wearing small bikinis. Like in Brazil, it's many beaches everywhere, and everyone's in a really small bikini, you know, like the Brazilian bikini is famous, you know.
Brazilian cut.
Yeah, Brazilian cut, you know. So we grow up watching amazing women everywhere, and you want to look like that, you know.
Yeah.
So once you have an age, and you kind of like, for me, I was super skinny, and I was, you know, like suffering bullying at school, you know, like my whole life. So I always wanted to build my body. So once I was able to, like 14 years old, okay, it's that teenager time. Now I want to grow my glutes, grow my legs, just, you know, like build this body. And that's when I started. And when I was 18, so I did 4 years just working with ankle weights and trying to build my glutes. And, you know, like I had great success. And then when I was 18, that they allowed me in the lifting weight rooms, I never stopped. So that's when I start training. And all the Brazilians are like that. If you see videos of everyone, like I used to train super heavy, not just glutes, but also my quads. We are all about the lower body. And if you ask me about my upper body training, I'm like, what is that?
Did you start in figure?
Yeah.
I did.
Wait.
I did 3 shows as figure. That was my first show. Look, oh my God.
Yes, your first show ever.
Oh my
Night
God,
and
how
day.
did you find those?
Wow.
Look at the
Look
quads.
at this.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
This is just a testament to the fact that like our sport is like a science and
is.
people don't really understand like to train or not to train this body parts.
Yeah.
Lay back, put the brakes on this. And
Yeah.
you know, it's sculpting. We're artists.
Yeah.
And that's just
You
an example
evolve.
right there.
It takes
Well, you know
time.
what
It takes time.
Go ahead. You know what I laugh at though, Angelica, you said in one of your interviews that you didn't know what you were doing going into any of the shows. As far
Yes.
as like your posing, the diet, you just did whatever your coach said. What was it? Your first show was 4 weeks out?
No, it was my first show, and I just did 1 month prep for my first show, 4 weeks prep.
What?
Yeah, for that figure show that you guys saw, because I was already in a great shape. Well, I started training, like very young. I was 29 years old when I did my first show. So imagine from 14 to 29 training all the time. I already had a great physique. I was already a personal trainer, a fitness group fitness instructor. So I was like, fitness was my life. And when I start like, oh, you know what? I think I want to take this to the next level. I got a coach from Brazil. And but he was living in Florida, and he was kind of like following me, but not so much because he had so many clients. He was super famous in Brazil. He was more like a lifestyle in Brazil. So he was coaching everyone in Brazil. So he was super busy. I think he was not even looking at what I was doing actually, like, and he was like, you know what? There's a show next week. I think you can do it. Like with 1 week, I'm like, wait, but I thought this journey would take like so long, and it's just being like 4 weeks, like 1 month. And he's like, no, you know what? I think you can step on stage so we see how you look like what we can improve. And I'm like, okay, let's do it, But I didn't know posing. I didn't know anything. Like I didn't have a bikini. I had to borrow a bikini. He was the one that chose figure for me. I didn't know that bikini existed, So when I got there backstage with him, and then trying to practice the posing last minute, like figure posing, so hard. He's like, okay, spread your legs. I'm like, he's like, spread your legs. I'm like, I don't think I have legs. And he's like, yeah, you know what? Like your upper body's not there. My legs, I had more quads. So I think that's why he chose figure for me. But I look at the figure, I look at the bikini girls and I'm like, yes, okay. That's the girls I'm competing with. And then he was like, oh no, those are the bikini girls. You're competing against those girls. I'm like, oh wow. I'm like, really?
Right. Because I'm sure they were really lean and muscular, and you could see their shoulders and the separation.
Yeah, the shoulders.
Wow.
It wasn't as hard as it is now, like figure, like
this
every
was her first bikini show.
This was actually my second. I think that was my second bikini.
Your second bikini?
Yeah, the first one I'm wearing, it's a kind of like a red suit. It's a very pale red.
You can always tell like the era of what year it was based on the front poses, whoever that champion was. Angelica, what was she was like the youngest Olympia winner for bikini.
Courtney.
No, not Courtney. It was before Courtney.
Yes. And
I always forget.
And it was her and her mother, right? Didn't her mother compete as well?
Yes, she was like 17.
I can't remember her name.
What's her name? Oh my God.
Well, I have a question.
This is the only one I could find, but you look pretty good. You look pretty good.
Yeah.
My question is, in 2020 to now, it's not 4 years, but maybe 4 years. What has changed? Because the sport is constantly changing, as far as like posing. Like, is there something that you had to make an adjustment?
Well, I thought I needed to change something, and I was practicing. But when I went to Pittsburgh to see Tyler and also to New York so Steve could give me feedback. So I got feedback from both of them. Both said like, why are you posing like that? Like that's not what we want, like the way, because I was trying to square my shoulders to the front because I see that most of the bikini pros are doing that more now, like really, like like being square to the front. And they say, no, that's not what we want. We want it more relaxed. We don't want you trying to force, like this arm to the front. And that was making me look a little, like my waist don't look as small as it always was. And of course, now having babies, I want to show, of course, the smallest waist. And I always pose it more sideways with my waist and showing more my side glutes to give me the hourglass shape. And because I was really trying, this super uncomfortable, like everyone that tried to do that, no. And Camille knows we did not pose. We could not really flex. Bikini was all about really posing, relax and having fun. I was never really flexing or posing on stage. So I'm like, I see that this is going to another level. The girls are really, trying to twist more the shoulders. So I need to do that. And I was practicing. So they say, no, you don't need to do that. Let me see, just relax and do like you used to do. And then I did like, oh my God, yes, that looks great,
Yeah, you don't feel like you're being forced. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, whoever, like, I think when you're like, when Isa Piscini was Miss Olympia for the bikini, she had such a wicked X frame and shoulders that, we were all having to like flex more and try to
yes.
pop.
Yeah, that's when it started to change, and I thought it was gonna take a step back, but then I stepped back to have babies, and I kept seeing, like all the top pros doing it, and I'm like, I'm already, I'm very symmetrical, but I'm not really the biggest, on my upper body. So I'm like, well, if they all doing, and some girls that has like bigger upper body, they doing it. I'm like, imagine me that I'm small, I'm tiny, on top. So I really need to twist. So that was one of the things that when I start prepping and practicing my pose, I was like, okay, I need to work on this. I need to work on this. But it was actually a relief when I went to see them, and both of them gave me the same feedback, like, no, don't need to, like to square your shoulders to the front, because that makes you look more square, and that kind of like feels that you're really flexing and forcing. So no, you don't need to do that. And also the walk, though, I think the walk started to get to another level too with the crossing, but there's something too that they taking back, Like I went to a NPC seminar with Attila. She's doing such a great job, like talking, explaining everything. She even does herself, like the way they want. So it's super helpful, when you can see someone talking and then showing and demonstrating. And one of the things that she said was about the walk, to not overcross, that's not really, like what they want, but to really keep like you still posing, to really keep pushing the glutes up. So that was something that I thought I had to change too, but they, like after that, I was like, no, you know what? And I think everything else for pose is pretty much, the same. But for the Olympia, now we have less time. We cannot just be there forever, like we used to be. But most of all, for posing, it's the same.
I have a juicy question for you. Okay, so since you left, we have a new division that has really taken off. Okay, you have always been known for your round, crazy glutes, and I feel like when you stepped away, that was kind of the look that got rewarded. Now with the new wellness division, is there anything that you have been studying, and as the divisions have evolved and kind of come out onto the scene, how does that impact your strategy, and is that something that you've taken into account?
What do you mean about the wellness and then bikini?
So I guess to be more specific, the wellness division before it came onto the scene, I feel like the bikini girls who had the roundest, craziest glutes were getting rewarded, right? And that's something we talked about in our show last week. But and that was your bread and butter, right? Now I've noticed that, it seems like they're not rewarding the girls with the craziest glutes anymore in the bikini division, because now we have the wellness division, which, they're trying to draw a line between. I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on that, and if that's something that is, played into your strategy at all.
I think it's actually, I think like the nice glutes is still being awarded in bikini. It's just about not being overpowering,
Right.
So yes,
be balanced.
Yeah, it has to be balanced. If you have great glutes, you gotta be balanced with your upper body and then with your legs. And actually, I think like what everyone is really afraid is about the quads now, you know, like with because if you have bigger quads, then now you really have a division that, you know, like is wellness. So for my glutes, yeah, I'm not trying to be the biggest glutes, but like I think if you come in with a nice full and tight glute, you always get the judge, you know, like eyes, because I have been to all this time. I wasn't just home. I was, you know, I'm a coach, like I'm coaching girls. So I've been to the seminars, I've been to the shows, you know, like around here. So I see what they are awarding, and I see that a nice full glute is always what the judges are looking for. Not super big quads. So it gotta be symmetrical too, you know, like nice and full, but not so big like wellness. So my strategy coming, you know, like really, like I wasn't training all this time to trying to build or change my body or kind of like get my body to fit any, you know, like the bikini criteria more, because I didn't think about coming back and competing. But when I stopped prepping and I saw my body, I was like, you know what, I still can see it's very harmonic, it's very balanced. So I still can do this, you know, because if I saw that, you know what, during all this time, all I did was training glutes and now it's overpowering. Like, you know what, I need some time to adjust. But as I saw my body, I was like, you know, I kept training the way I always train, because I have built like some amount of muscle. So my training has not really been to build too much anymore, you know, like for a while, even when I was winning, I was not trying to build so much anymore, you know.
I actually changed my opinion about this, because I actually remember thinking that your glutes were so crazy, but now it's interesting because I feel desensitized. Now that I look at your physique, everything looks actually really balanced. It's crazy how that happens, right? Now that I'm seeing all these crazy glutes, I'm like, no, actually, she looks really balanced. I don't know. Maybe I have like you know what I'm saying? Like how your memory is different. Once you see more, you become desensitized, or you see more things.
There was always one of the strengths that, you know, like I always got feedback from the judge, from, you know, like from everyone in the industry that like, Angelica, you are very balanced. Nothing on you really stands out too much. Like we cannot tell that you have, oh my God, she has amazing glutes. And, you know, like when you come on stage, we don't draw the eyes to anything. It's just very harmonic, you know. So there was always the feedback. So my goal was to try to keep that, to bring, you know, like a harmonic physique, very balanced, with nothing standing out too much, you know. So I hope in a week I'll be able to showcase that.
Yes. I don't know if anyone, sorry to interrupt, but I don't know if anyone asked this question already, but what was some of your biggest struggles? Did you have any struggles during this prep coming back from?
The biggest struggle this prep, it's funny, but was really keeping the fullness, not getting too tight, not getting too shredded, you know, like, I don't know what it was, but as soon as I stopped prepping, my weight was already so low. And I wasn't trying to lose weight. I was just, you know, like training to look stronger, to look fit, but not like eating, you know, like really eating a lot. So I think because I took that break and my metabolism was so good, because, you know, like eating more, because I was prepping for years and years, you know, like nonstop. Like I think I did 8 years nonstop, like just competing. Yes. And then I took a break finally to have babies and have a regular diet, you know, kind of like eat free and train less, not, you know, like not forcing myself to be in the gym 5-6 times, you know, like every week, just taking breaks if I want, getting to the gym, and then if I don't feel like going, give my body a rest. When I started prep, my metabolism was just like on fire. So I started with kind of like the calories that I always start, like around 1800, almost 1900. Wow. And I start dropping weight, and I'm like, oh, because I always started that much, and I actually always gain weight at the beginning of the prep, and then the metabolism starts to speed up, and then I start dropping my calories when I want to start cutting, and it was always from 1800 to lower and lower until like 1500, 1400 at the end. I was never like so low, but you know, like it's low. But for this prep, I was like, okay, so I'm going to start like that, and let's see how the body responds. And then with 2 weeks, I had to bump my calories to 2000. And then with another week, I'm like, I'm still dropping weight, you know, because then I cut all the cheat meals, I cut all the free food, and, you know, like, and all the fun food that I was having. And then my body starts to drop more. I'm like, my God, you know, so I start increasing my calories. So I did the opposite as every prep. Like every week I was increasing my calories. And I'm like, oh, okay, so now let's increase the carbs. I'm like, oh, but now carbs are getting me very hard, like harder look. So let me increase my fat. So I start playing with my diet, because the first time that I'm coaching myself too. So it was kind of like fun, watching my body, and then, oh my God, hold on, let me increase this, let me increase that, let me test this, you know. So this whole prep has been about testing and watching my body and changing things, and then bumping calories, bumping carbs, bumping fats, you know, and seeing
what. So you're your own coach. You're coaching.
Yeah, I'm coaching myself. Yes. I don't know if any bikini girl ever done that. I think you, Camille. You?
My husband Chris coached me, so we would do it together. Yeah, I had a coach for a long time, and then I started to do it. And like you probably feel, Angelica, like you know your body, and then you've been in it for so long, and you've coached so many people that sometimes it's great, but it helps to have another eye on you. Is there anyone that's kind of like maybe confirming, because you look down, you're like, especially as you get really close.
Yes. Well, when it gets closer, you kind of like get like, oh my God, do I look good? Like, how to, like, you know, it's not getting like, oh my God, I look terrible. And then you ask someone, and like I show my mark, and like, I don't think so. Oh my God, you look amazing. And then they start, I'm like, oh really? Do I? I'm like, okay, let me take a break. I'm not gonna look it now. And then I look again, like, I actually look really good. That's true. By the end, it's crazy. But I have a friend that she started competing almost same time as me, you know, like Anna Dalter. She's from California. And I was competing, she's Brazilian too. I was competing in New Jersey, New York, you know, doing all the shows. She was competing in California, and she was the same situation as me. She was trying to get her pro card, winning overalls, because she could not do the nationals too. And she was on a journey. She was winning overalls, you know, she was doing amazing. And then we became friends because we had the same goal. And then we met in 2014 in Vegas. We became really, really close friends. So she's been part of my prep. She's been part of this journey. And she always, you know, like even when I was with Kim, like I love Kim. Kim, you know, like will always be part of my journey, because everything that I learned from him, you know. So even when I was with him, she was always kind of like looking and like, oh my God, you look amazing. Oh my God, amiga is like my friend, you know. Amiga, you need to be tighter, you know. And like, oh, we know, hey, take it easy, you know. So she was always there. She was always someone that I always sent my check-ins to, you know, like she was always part of my journey. So once I decided, you know what, I'm going to go back to compete, she was the first one after Marco that I asked, like, what do you think, you know? So I made a video, and that video was like, oh my God, I'm going to share on my Instagram one day, like how I look at, like the first video I did when I was like, you know what, let me see how it looks, you know? And then I send it to her like, amiga, look how I look. I'm waiting, you know, like I'm 121 pounds. And she's like, oh my God, so light. And then I sent the video. She's like, oh, yeah, you can do this, but we're missing a few parts in the physique, but we can definitely do this. And I'm like, amiga, I'm serious. I think I'm gonna do this. And you know, like I'll coach myself. And she's like, oh, you know, I'm here. I was always here for you. So, you know, like I know you can do this. You know what to do. You have been, you know, like doing amazing, you know, like as a coach. And she was like, no, let's do this. So every check-in I take, like I'm doing everything, my diet, everything, my training, but every picture I take every day, I send it to her. And she was always like, oh, wow, you got even better today, you know? So it's a second eye, because she's a personal trainer too. She also coaches some athletes. So she knows, and she's an athlete herself, you know? So she's been an eye, but also Jamie from Fit Body Fusion, she's been there for me, because, you know, I start coaching with them. I think it's been almost a year now. And the thought about, you know, like going back to compete wasn't there. And it was kind of like hard for me to join them, because I was never part of the Fit Body Fusion while I was competing. But you know, I always kind of like admire the way they do, you know, like with all the coaches and how they're growing, you know, like it's the support like system that I saw backstage to all the shows that I was. Everyone was there, Jamie was there, Greg, all the coaches, you know, helping everything. I'm like, you know what, I wanna more support for my clients. And then when this opportunity came, I was like, but I feel really bad because I was always coached by Kim, but he don't have the same, you know, like thing that Jamie does, you know, like Jamie opens, you know, like more to other coaches so we all can build a career. But Kim, he didn't have that, you know. So I called him and I was like, Kim, I love you, but this opportunity came. Like you know, like, but I want your blessing, you know, like if I never want you to think that, you know, I'm not being loyal or that I'm competition to you now, because you are family to me. I love you. And he was like, Angelica, my darling, I love you and I want the best for you. Yeah, he was so supportive. He was like, I know, I explained to him because, well, I stopped competing. Of course, all my sponsors, not all, like, you know, like I still kept a few, like Trifecta, like Chic, but like a supplement sponsor, I didn't have any sponsors. And I was like, you know what, I need to work. I need to help Marco, you know, like I have a family. Like, and this is something that I love. I have a few clients, but because I wasn't competing, my name wasn't out there anymore, you know, because when you're competing, everyone, their eyes are on you, and the clients just kind of like come. But once you step back, it's not like that anymore. So I had like 10 clients, but it wasn't enough, you know, like for me. And I really love doing that.
Would you say
forever?
Would you say that the mindset was so, because that's one of the things, like how important it is. We know how to train, we know how to diet. You're a great coach to yourself.
Yeah.
But a lot of it's what's going on up in our head, you know, and that's why it's so nice when you have a friend like you have, someone that you trust, that you go to.
Yeah, you know, like having her is such like, it was already a support for all my other preps, but for this one for sure, it's like something that like I know that I have someone to count, like, hey, do you think I should try this? You know, I have a feeling, I know my body, I think I should just go this way. And then they're like, okay, let's try and let's see how the pictures look like tomorrow. So I have another eye to kind of like compare and, you know, and kind of like looking like, you know what, I'm like, hey, look, amiga, I think I got tighter. And she's like, yes, you did, tighter and fuller. I'm like, exactly, yeah. That's, you know, like when I took the pictures this morning, I felt that I got tighter and fuller at the same time. So this is the way, and like we celebrate, you know, like she has such a good energy. Like many in the bikini division already know her because she was with me backstage. Yeah, you met her, right? Yeah. So, you know, like many of in the bikini division already know her because I always brought her to the shows. She was always there with me. I tried to bring her backstage. She was, you know, like always there. She was really a mental, like a strong mental support for me, you know.
It's so nice having a friend like that.
Yeah, it is. And now Jamie too, I sent her pictures and she, you know, like she gives me feedback. She kind of like gives me a direction.
What was her name?
Jamie. Oh, my friend Anna Daltro.
Anna Daltro. How do you spell her last name?
It's a Daltro. You can find her on Instagram. ANNADALTRA. No, I'm sorry. Ends with O.
She's gonna have a ton of new friends.
Yeah, go follow her, guys. Go. She's amazing. She's a vibe. She has such a good energy. Everyone loves her.
Someone chimed in, last name Zimmerman. She asked a really good question to Angelica.
Yeah. She said, based on the feedback recently from top judges, have you been able to figure out filling out versus not being too lean or hard? If so, how is that going? That's kind of along lines of what you were just talking about too.
Yeah, actually, because you know, like this whole prep is being about eating more and really trying to keep myself fuller, and they did not give me feedback that I was too tight or too small or too hard, you know. So thank God. I was afraid. I was like, I'm gonna go there. I know more of, you know, to the tighter side, but it's better for them to see me a little tighter, and then they say, okay, get a little softer than going there too soft. So I was kind of like, okay, let's see what they say. But they didn't say, oh no, you're too hot, oh, you're too shredded. No, they just say, no, you know, you look great. Like Steve, you know, Steve, he's part of my journey since my first show, you know, like my first show was the Tribeca show in New York, was his show. And then he followed my journey, you know, like in the figure, and then going to bikini every show. And I start training, make the trip from New Jersey to New York once or twice a week, you know, like through my whole journey. So he was always there, always following. When I became a pro, I started asking him for feedback, like, what do I need to improve? And always working on his feedback. So he knows me, you know. So I'm like, I need to go there at least for a few hours for him to see me, for myself to see myself in that room, in that mirror, because it's funny when you're prepping the same spot and training your posing there, you know, and you see yourself different, like I'm seeing myself in my mirror at home or just making videos. So once I step in that posing room at his gym, and I look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, oh my God, I look good. You know, like,
hey, what did he say?
And then he said, wow. Said, wow, you look really
you
good.
know,
Yeah, he said, you look really good, Angelica. We cannot even tell that you had 2 babies. So that was, I'm like, really, Steve? I'm like, do you think I'm still competitive? You know, this is a competitive shape, because that's what I want, you know, like number one is to come competitive. And, you know, like, we don't know what can happen. Everyone bring their A game, but I want to step on stage and feel good and feel that I belong. It's like, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Maybe you look even better than before. You know, when I heard that, I was like, wow.
Because there's a strategic thing that goes on. I know when I competed, the Linda Murray, the first 6, and when I took that 4 or 5 year break and I came back, I was a different animal. I was stronger. I was wiser.
That 2001?
Pardon?
That was 2001 that you came back?
Yeah, 2000. Yep, 2001. Yeah. So I feel like Angelica, it's one of those things where you're just much more mature, wiser, more at peace. And I think, like, strategically, when you make this decision to come back, it's a little bit scary to, like, go in front of someone like a Steve Weinberger, or to reach out and tell people what you're thinking, because the norm is, like, all those out there, when they hear that you're coming back, they think, no way, you can't, you know, the physical, just think you can't do it, you know, so they're out there talking about it. So you kind of, like you said, we talked about this a little bit briefly off camera, where you kind of keep it on the down low, you know, kind of cover up, show a little bit. So tell us about that, because I'm sure that was really, really challenging.
I know, like, you know, like, just to be doing this, I'm already winning, you know, like, I feel like a champion already, you know, just to be able to step on stage again, because I thought maybe I would never be able to step on stage again. I feel like a champion. And now, like, this week, Speak Week starts tomorrow. I don't need to do crazy things. I'm not even doing cardio much. I'm doing like 15 minutes walk just to keep the blood flow, you know, and my body's ready. I'm just kind of like playing with what I'm doing. And honestly, just trying to not do crazy things now. Peak week, I'm not going to be trying different things. I'm just kind of like going to go easy, you know, into this peak week. So seeing myself today, like 1 week out, it's like, wow, I did it, you know. I did it, you know. Wow, like, you know. I had that goal. It was a crazy goal. I was a little crazy, I know, you know, like to be back after 2 babies on that's normal to be crazy. You know, and my journey has been about just going for what I want, you know, like, and just, you know, like, really believing myself. I'm like, why I'm not gonna believe in myself now? So you know, like, now looking at myself, I'm like, well, whatever happens next week, I feel like a champion.
But look at this. But this is a champion right here.
Yeah, this was, look, first picture, 2020 Olympia in December. Second picture, December 2021, the day I was having Alisa, there was Friday, and there was the Olympia weekend. So 1 year after the Olympia, exactly 1 year after the Olympia. So I was having, that was December 17, and Bikini went on stage on December 18. So I had a list on December 17, exactly 1 year after stepping on stage. And then the year after, I was with Alyssa. I was working backstage with the Olympia live stream and live stream for Brazil for the first time. Pregnant off Isla, you can see my hand, you know, like I think I was 7 months pregnant, you know, like at that time.
Wow.
And then a year after was me right there. I left babies behind for one of the first times. I just was the first time that I traveled for more than 1 day, because everywhere I was going, I went to do a Olympia TV with Tarek, but I went same day and they came back same day just to be 1 day, you know, like not with them. So, you know, so that Olympia was the first time that I traveled and stayed, like, I think I stayed 2 days. I got there on Friday. I got there on Thursday night and I left Sunday morning. So, you know, like it's been a journey. And now looking at myself now, like, but don't think that I'm preparing just to be on stage. Like, oh, you know,
you hear that, Laura Lee? You hear that, Laura Lee Chipados?
Laura Lee, I love you.
But it's not just doing this to be on stage.
Yeah, no, we all, like, you know, like if someone is getting ready to compete just to compete, they doing the wrong thing. You gotta prepare yourself to win every day.
Right.
Like, you know, you got to be focused. If I was doing this just with a goal to just show them that I can still step on stage and look so, and, you know, like whatever I look, it's an excuse because I'm a mom now, you know, so whatever, you know, if I don't look perfect, or of course nobody's perfect, or if I don't look on my A game, I'm not. No,
we strive for perfection.
Yeah,
we all strive for perfection.
Yeah, we strive for, you know, for perfection. So if I had that in my mind, that mindset of, you know what, I had 2 babies, whatever, you know, I'll not be looking this good right now. So I prepped myself to win since day one, you know. Since day one, I was like, I'm coming and I'm coming to win, you know. Like, ask me if I'll be upset if I don't win. I will not, you know. I'll be really happy with whatever happens. But ask me if I'm preparing myself to win and training my posing every day and taking pictures 3-4 times a day. This is because I want to win. I want to bring my A game, and I want to be competitive, and I want to step on, you know, there and feel that I still belong, you know. So don't think that I'll be on stage just kind of like, okay, just happy to be here. Forgive my shape. It's not 100%, but no, I'm doing my 100% every day.
Yeah, wow.
So are you going to be competing in any other shows after this, like Pittsburgh?
That's a good question. You know, like I spoke to JM and I was like, JM, let's see how this one goes. Like, you know, we had an interview.
He wants you to do Pittsburgh.
He wants me. He's like, okay, like, what about Pittsburgh? You know, like I went to Pittsburgh and we did the road to Columbus, you know, and like we had like a 45 minutes interview. It was just, you know, flowing. And he's like, wow, this is the longest, you know, like I done. But it was just so much to talk about with everything, you know, like that has been happening. And then he said, what about Pittsburgh and New York, bro? And I'm like, well, let's see how this one goes. You know, like I want to see how this one goes. I have the Arnold, and then I have the Arnold UK. And then I'll decide on next step, because, you know, like I told him, if I can do it all, why not do it all? You know, so if I do really well, I might get excited, you know, and want to jump, you know, like right into the Pittsburgh Pro and the New York Pro. But I'm not promising anything. I just want to see how, you know, I'm really focused on this, and my mind is just, you know, like it's 2 shows. And after I finish the Arnold Ohio, I'll have an idea. And he was like, okay, so I'll call you on Monday. I'm like, I'll probably call you on Saturday, depending on the results.
Well, I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be cool if you win back-to-back Arnolds.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
Wow.
I won the Pittsburgh Pro and the New York Pro in 2016.
Wow.
So it would be nice to you know, like to go and compete again and, you know, hopefully win, of course. Well,
that's right.
If I'm coming, it's because I want to win, of course.
Yeah,
you know?
Of course.
Well,
spoken like a true champion.
Yeah, gotta be.
Yep. Well, guys, you guys hear that? We're 1 week away from the Ms International Bikini 1 week away.
1 week.
And two times Miss Olympia, 2 times Ms International Bikini, Angelica Teixeira.
Soon to be 3. No, I'm just.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, that's what it's about.
So I'm
You
coming
guys
for the
hear
title
that?
again. Yeah.
He's going there.
That's what it's about.
Don't call it a comeback.
Don't call it.
That's right.
Yeah. It's
Yes,
just,
so
yeah.
thank you so much for joining us. And guys out there, Angelica says,
before we
it's
hang
not just
up,
a comeback.
I want to show babies.
Yes.
Oh, yay.
Let's see. Oh, everyone's here now. Look, even Marco is home.
Oh, we get the whole family.
This is Ayla. This is the youngest.
What a precious family.
Beautiful baby.
Oh,
Say hi. Hey.
I like that.
Hi.
Wait,
You already
Alisa.
won.
Oh, this is Broly.
Hi. Aww.
He's more work than babies.
He's still my heart.
No,
I'm gonna let you wrap it up in Portuguese if you have something to say to your fans out there.
I know so many Brazilians are watching, so
so
meus
say,
amores,
something.
Obrigada por assistir, todo mundo que está aí assistindo em português, por todo o suporte, por todo o carinho. Vamos com tudo, Brasil. Amo vocês.
Oh,
Hi.
Hi.
Hi.